Sun breathing. Sun breathing is the original breathing technique created by Yoriichi Tsugikuni, the first and most powerful demon slayer. It is considered the strongest breathing technique, featuring a wide variety of moves with no fixed patterns, making it the most flexible and effective against demons. This technique is also called the original breathing style because it is the source of all other breathing techniques. It's named sun breathing because it mimics the properties of what demons fear the most, sunlight. When using its techniques, the user imagines themselves harnessing the flames of the sun's surface. Yoriichi passed this breathing style down to the Demon Slayer core, but very few could master it. Instead, they adapted it into other breathing styles that suited them better. Over time, the original breathing style gradually became lost within the Demon Slayer core due to Muzan, the Demon King, ordering the extermination of its practitioners. Only the Kamado family managed to preserve its basic principles, as Yoriichi personally entrusted it to them, keeping it alive for 400 years. It wasn't until the protagonist, Tanjiro, copied Yoriichi's sword movements that he was able to fully master all the techniques and use them to defeat Muzan. Sun breathing was originally created with 12 techniques, all of which are interconnected. After encountering Muzan Kibutsuji, Yoriichi perfected his swordsmanship and developed an unnamed 13th technique. This 13th form incorporates all 12 original techniques. 13th form. The user continuously performs all 12 sun-breathing forms in a repeating sequence. This increases the precision and speed of their movements and attacks. This form was specifically created to kill Muzan Kibutsuji, as the repetition of all 12 forms targets and destroys his 12 vital organs, 7 hearts and 5 brains, which move freely inside his body. Water breathing. Water breathing is one of the 5 main breathing techniques derived directly from sun breathing, alongside flame, wind, stone, and thunder breathing. It is considered a foundational technique, even the most basic of the basics, as it is suitable for most demon slayers when they first join the core. In fact, many lower-ranked demon slayers seen in the series appear to use water breathing. A known cultivator of water breathing in the Demon Slayer core is Sakonji Urokodaki, though there are other cultivators as well. Water breathing mimics the movement and properties of water. As you know, water is always flexible, capable of flowing through different terrains and adapting to its surroundings. With persistence, a stream of water can cut through anything. Swordsmen have recreated the flowing nature of water through suitable body movements. Water-breathing techniques involve fluidly bending the body, arms, and weapons to match the motion of flowing water. Users also imagine themselves creating and controlling water while performing these techniques. Water breathing has 10 forms, with an 11th form created and exclusively used by the Water Hashira, Giyu Tomioka. Additionally, there are various improved versions of the pre-existing techniques. With 11th form, Dead Calm, the user ceases all body movements and enters a state of complete tranquility, deflecting, blocking, and cutting any incoming attacks with imperceptible speed with their blade. However, its effectiveness is limited as fast and numerous attacks can break through. Flame breathing. Flame breathing is one of the 5 ancient breathing styles, created after sun breathing. This technique has been passed down through a single family, the Rengoku family, from generation to generation. Thanks to this uninterrupted legacy, flame breathing has been continuously refined over time, becoming an incredibly powerful technique that comes close to the strength of sun breathing. This style mimics the movements of flames to create its sword techniques. Users imagine themselves creating and controlling fire as they unleash their attacks. Most of its strikes are delivered from a standard stance, launching single, incredibly powerful attacks capable of burning through opponents. Flame breathing has a total of 9 known forms, though only 6 have been shown. Among these, the 9th form, Rengoku, is a secret art exclusive to the Rengoku family. It is the most powerful flame-breathing technique. The user assumes a high stance before performing an extremely high-speed dash towards the target and unleashing a singular, devastating slash. The technique is powerful enough to completely carve out the ground in its wake. In the movie and anime adaptation, this technique seemingly took the form of a flaming Japanese dragon that envelopes the user as they are charging towards the target. Thunder breathing. Thunder breathing is one of the 5 foundational breathing styles. This technique is based on observing and mimicking the characteristics of thunder and lightning. Users of thunder breathing visualize themselves creating and controlling lightning strikes as they execute their techniques. Some even imagine themselves as a storm cloud. Specifically, the attacks and movements are sudden and fast, like lightning ripping through the sky. Most known techniques involve incredible speed and rapid strikes to overwhelm enemies instantly. Zenitsu once noted that this breathing style focuses on channeling power into the legs, maximizing the output of every muscle and blood vessel. The user mimics the speed and precision of lightning to the point that their movements make the air vibrate, creating a thunderous sound with every step. Thunder breathing has a total of 6 standard forms, with the first form serving as the foundation for all others. However, Zenitsu Agatsuma developed a 7th form to match Kaigaku, his former senior under the guidance of Jigoro, who later became the upper rank 6 of the 12 Kazuki. With 7th form, the user dashes forward at blinding speeds and unleashes a singular forward slash at a low stance, which is seemingly accompanied by a yellow Japanese dragon shaped like a lightning bolt. Stone breathing. Stone breathing is one of the 5 foundational breathing styles. The core idea behind it is that users mimic the characteristics of earth and stone, adapting sun breathing to suit their own physical abilities. You might wonder how one imitates the movement of Earth, but if you take a closer look at the stone breathing techniques, it actually makes sense. Most of the forms in stone breathing cause tremors from the ground while manipulating the surrounding space for strong offense or defense. Facing someone using this style feels like confronting a meteorite. If their attack doesn't land, the shockwaves alone can still cause serious injuries. To use stone breathing effectively, the user needs to have a body and willpower as resilient as stone itself. The only known user of this style in the story is Gyome. He's so strong he can knock out demons with his bare hands. After joining the Demon Slayer Corps, he never slacked off on his training. He would carry logs through fire, push massive stones, or sit under waterfalls to strengthen his muscles. Additionally, he constantly chants Buddhist prayers to fortify his mental strength. His axe-like weapon perfectly complements his abilities and style. Stone breathing is the only one of the 5 fundamental breathing styles to not have a breathing style branched off from it. Since Gyome Himejima and the progenitor of stone breathing used completely different weapons for the same breathing style, it can be assumed the forms of stone breathing can be performed in different manners and with a range of heavy weapons. Wind breathing. Wind breathing is one of the foundational breathing styles. It mimics the movements of air, creating gusts of wind, particularly powerful whirlwinds. Users visualize themselves generating and controlling these winds as they perform their techniques. Most wind-breathing forms focus on pure offensive attacks. They often involve spinning and accelerating movements to unleash devastating slashes, resembling a whirlwind. This significantly boosts the swordsman's striking power and attack range. Additionally, these techniques can manipulate the surrounding air to create sharp crescent-shaped blade strikes from a distance. This breathing style truly makes the demons die in pain. Moon breathing. Moon breathing is a derivative breathing style created by Michikatsu as an adaptation of the original sun breathing. The reason behind its creation isn't particularly deep. He simply couldn't master sun breathing despite his best efforts. Moon breathing mimics the characteristics of the moon, especially its crescent and full moon shapes, along with the unpredictable changes in moonlight. These traits are reflected in the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. Most, if not all, forms of moon breathing are versatile sword techniques that focus on swift and powerful strikes, balancing both offense and defense. The slashes often resemble crescent moon shapes and patterns. Moon breathing is solely used by Michikatsu Tsugikuni, one of the first demon slayers to ever utilize total concentration breathing. When Michikatsu became a demon and took the name Kokushibo, he continued to use moon breathing. The main difference was his integration of blood demon art with the breathing style. The crescent moon shapes, once imagined, became physical manifestations infused with his demonic blood. turning them into deadly projectiles. This combination greatly increased the attack's power and range, making it even more dangerous to his opponents. Due to Kokushibo's centuries-long existence, he has created the most number of forms out of all known breathing styles, having developed a minimum of 16 techniques by the time of the events within the Infinity Castle. Flower breathing. Flower breathing is a style that mimics the traits of flowers and plants. Sounds vague, doesn't it? This breathing technique was developed from water breathing by the flower hashira, kanai. While water breathing focuses on flexibility and fluidity, flower breathing emphasizes speed and graceful arcing slashes. The wide sweeping arc of its strikes serves two purposes. First, to confuse the opponent about the point of impact, and second, to build momentum for stronger cuts, especially for users who lack significant physical strength. Sometimes, users even use their body weight to add force to their strikes. Practitioners of flower breathing visualize themselves creating petals that flutter around them during combat. This style also includes a secret technique that maximizes the user's vision, allowing them to perceive their surroundings in extreme detail and seemingly slow down the world around them. However, the cost of this heightened perception is severe. Overloading the eyes with blood can rupture blood vessels, potentially causing partial or total blindness. Unfortunately, since Kanai died before the story began, there isn't much flower breathing seen in the series. Insect breathing. Insect breathing is a unique style derived from flower breathing. Both Kanai and Shinobu were trained in water breathing when they joined the Demon Slayer Corps. However, since water breathing requires considerable physical strength, Kanai adapted it to create flower breathing. Unfortunately, even with the enhanced power of flower breathing, Shinobu still didn't have the strength to decapitate a demon. Determined not to give up, Shinobu studied insects and developed insect breathing, a style that perfectly suited her abilities. It involves moving gracefully like a butterfly and delivering lethal stabs that mimic the stings of bees. Most techniques of insect breathing focus on targeting weak points or inflicting severe wounds with precise thrusts. The user then injects poison into the wound to finish off the enemy. For demons, this poison is made from wisteria flowers. Insect breathing is considered Shinobu's signature style because the poison was her own creation. She even commissioned a special swordsmith to craft a unique blade for her, a thin sword with a needle-like tip, designed specifically for stabbing. The sword's sheath doubles as a portable poison mixer, allowing Shinobu to coat her blade with poison instantly by drawing it in and out of the sheath. Serpent breathing. Serpent breathing is a breathing style derived from water breathing, so its techniques have similarities to water breathing. The only known user of this style is the serpent hashira, Obanai Iguro, a highly skilled swordsman. When using this breathing style, he mimics the movements of a snake, slithering and twisting unpredictably while striking weak points with sudden, precise attacks. Most serpent breathing techniques involve curving and bending the blade in a snake-like manner. Instead of delivering straightforward, powerful slashes, the attacks appear to coil and mislead the opponent, creating fake movements to distract them. This confusion allows the user to land strikes wherever they desire. To complement this style, Obanai wields a specially crafted katana with a twisted, serpent-like design. This unique sword enhances his fluid, unpredictable strikes, making his attacks even more mesmerizing and difficult to counter. Obanai, having always been partially blind in his right eye, performed serpent breathing with the help of his snake Kaburamaru. Kaburamaru possesses a unique ability which allows him to read and predict a target's attacks and then relay that information to Obanai. However, it is unknown whether serpent breathing is performable without Kaburamaru's assistance. Love breathing. Love breathing is a breathing style derived from flame breathing and is based on the emotions of love. This unique style was created by the love hashira, Mitsuri Kanroji. She learned flame breathing from the flame hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku, and modified it to suit her personal abilities. This style takes advantage of Mitsuri's extraordinary muscle density, which grants her immense strength while keeping her body agile and not overly bulky. Thanks to this, Mitsuri can deliver extremely fast and powerful attacks while moving with incredible flexibility. To complement her style, Mitsuri requested a custom weapon, a long whip-like sword that matches her fighting techniques. When she wields it, her movements resemble a graceful dancer, fluid and elegant, yet packed with raw power. Love breathing is exclusive to Mitsuri due to her unique combination of flexibility and physical traits. Most of its techniques involve smooth flowing motions that leverage the user's incredible agility, precision, and speed. These moves often include wide swirling slashes that interweave and can strike from medium to long distances. Users of love breathing imagine creating pink and green sparks, with pink streaks tracing the paths of their attacks, adding an artistic and dynamic visual flair to this already mesmerizing style. Sound breathing. Sound breathing is a breathing style derived from thunder breathing. This style mimics the characteristics of thunder, especially its loud volume, which can disorient enemies. Most of the known techniques of sound breathing incorporate explosives to deal massive damage while using the sound of the explosions as a distraction. This allows the user to perform high-speed, close-range attacks with melee weapons. After being hit, the enemy is often left unable to hear anything, adding to their confusion. The only known user of sound breathing is the sound Hashira, Uzui Tengen. His extraordinary sense of hearing complements this breathing style, making him even more formidable, like a tiger growing wings. Aside from powerful strikes, Tengen can also use sound to analyze his enemy's movements. By doing so, he creates a score of their actions, called a sound pattern. Using this sound pattern, he can predict their next moves and determine where to strike for maximum effectiveness. All of this happens in perfect harmony, like a well-composed melody. Tengen wields two massive swords connected by a chain, resembling a pair of nunchaku. These dual blades are designed with explosives embedded in them, causing large explosions upon impact. The weapons are so powerful that it is said no one had ever survived a single strike from them before the Sound Hashira fought the upper rank 6. Mist breathing. Mist breathing is a breathing style derived from wind breathing. This style mimics the characteristics of mist, especially its hazy and obscure nature, which is reflected in the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. Most of the techniques involve elusive movements and confusing attacks that disorient and bewilder the target, much like how thick mist can obscure vision. The essence of this style lies in techniques that disrupt the opponent's perception. To enhance this effect, the user typically wears loose, flowing clothing to obscure their body movements further. They also move incredibly fast in confined spaces, creating an environment where the enemy's senses, and even their awareness of their surroundings, are overwhelmed. After confusing their opponent, the user delivers quick, powerful strikes to finish the fight efficiently. The most notable technique of this breathing style is obscuring clouds. It's a movement-based technique designed to heavily disorient the target by changing the user's tempo. When the user appears before the target, they move incredibly slowly, but then suddenly accelerate to blistering speeds before striking, making it seem like they disappeared into a cloud of mist. When used repeatedly, it can confuse the target to the point of making them feel like they are being surrounded by a thick layer of mist. Beast breathing. Beast breathing is a unique breathing style created by Inosuke, the boar-headed warrior. He grew up living with boars in the forest, and his survival there required him to imitate the wild, powerful animals to stay alive, particularly their unpredictable, bloodthirsty instincts. The user of this style mimics the attacks of these animals, turning them into their own techniques. When using beast breathing, the swordsman imagines themselves transforming into a wild boar, or more accurately, manifesting the claws and fangs of a fierce animal. While Inosuke created this style himself, many of its attacks are similar to wind breathing, which is why it is considered a branch of wind breathing. Because this style mimics the wild animal's use of claws, horns, and fangs, it is believed that only a pair of weapons like Inosuke's can fully optimize its use. Unlike other breathing techniques, only supplement moves are called forms, as assaulting beast-breathing moves are called fangs instead. Inosuke not only based this style on the wild boars that raised him, but also on bears and wolves, because he was fond of them. Alright, that's all for this episode. If you want me to make a video about any other anime or a specific character, just leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.